Hey everyone, this is Coach Graber. This video is about living in the present and the practice of mindfulness. So our brain is wired with neurons, and there's connections between the neurons that fire as our brain works. These connections between the neurons in our brain get stronger as we build patterns of thinking. So these patterns of thinking actually work like ruts on a bike trail. The deeper and the stronger these connections get, the more your brain slides into those thought patterns. And the more this happens, the deeper those ruts get, the more your brain slides into those same patterns of thinking. So this can be helpful at times, or it can be harmful at times. So it allows your brain to work almost in autopilot mode, where it automatically starts thinking along these patterns. That can be really helpful when you build positive habits of thinking and you work through habits in your life. But it can also be a bad thing when you have had patterns of negative thinking about yourself, or negative thought patterns. So it's helpful to think about how to get outside of this autopilot mode, so that we're not being controlled by these negative thought patterns, or controlled by strong emotions that make us feel like we don't have control of our lives. So becoming more aware of what we're thinking in the current moment and living in the present can help us to move out of this autopilot mode and allow us to make more active choices in what we're thinking and feeling. So this practice is called mindfulness. In essence, we can be aware of what our mind is focusing on in the present moment to help us monitor our thinking process and our thinking patterns. Mindfulness is the practice of being purposeful about living in the here and now instead of focusing on the past or the future. It involves paying attention to what's happening in the current moment, both inside ourselves and around ourselves, and letting go of the other thoughts that push their way into our heads. All of this has to be done with a non-judgmental attitude of accepting ourselves to calm our mind. So the simplest way to practice mindfulness is to practice deep breathing. So you breathe into your nose for 3 or 4 seconds, and then breathe either out of your mouth or your nose for another 3 to 4 seconds. As you do this, focus entirely on your breath. Notice how your chest rises and falls as your abdomen fills with air. Allow your belly to expand around your ribs as your lungs fill with air. Notice how the air feels going into your nose and then out of your mouth. So some of you may be wondering why we're doing this. Mindful breathing calms your mind and allows you to both relax and to think more clearly. So picture your mind as a snow globe. Our emotions are often swirl up our mind like shaking a snow globe, clouding our minds with thoughts and feelings stirred by those emotions. So mindful breathing allows that snow to settle so that our minds become clear and calm. So it gives yourself a chance to really clear your mind so that you can have clear thinking towards whatever you want to focus on. Now, when you practice these type of mindfulness exercises, such as mindful breathing, at times your mind is going to get off track. You start thinking about other things instead of focusing on your breathing. That's natural. It's part of the process. It's very important when you're working through this not to judge yourself for these distractions. So instead, gently remind yourself to focus on the present and pull your mind back into focus. Not beating yourself up, not judging yourself, but gently reminding yourself of what you should be focusing on instead. Now, you might have to do this many times over, but the more you practice it, the better you're going to get. When you practice mindfulness and focus on your breathing, you're actually training your brain. This allows you to build new thinking patterns instead of being controlled by your emotions. Now, training your brain is like a physical workout, except it involves your mind and your mental strength instead of physical strength. When you first begin to train your brain, it's difficult because you haven't done this type of workout before. The more you exercise your brain, the stronger it gets. So it's going to take a while before you really get in the place where this gets easier. Think of it like working out. So take some time now to practice doing some mindful breathing. Breathe in your nose for 3 to 4 seconds and breathe out of your nose or mouth for another 3 to 4 seconds. As you do this, focus entirely on your breath. And again, notice how your chest rises and falls. Allow your belly to expand around your ribs as your lung fills with air, and then notice how the air feels. And focus on pulling your mind back into focus without judgment when your mind wanders. This exercise can really help you get to a place where you're able to get your mind into a clear place. This is helpful for dealing with anxiety or stress or sadness, anger, any of those strong emotions. Doing something like this can help you get back on track to clear your mind. If you have any questions, let me know. And as always, have a great day. And I'll talk to you soon.